Freud's work was so prolific that we certainly can't even begin to cover all of his theories in this class, but I want to touch on a couple of more interesting ones here just briefly. And you can look them up under PsychLit or PsycInfo in the library here. If you just put in phrases like Freud and obscenities, we're also going to look at his theory of humor, very interesting. You could just put in Freud and humor. Anyway, obscenities and Freud's stages. Freud pointed out, and this is a really interesting exercise to do in your mind, but if you run down a list of obscenities in your mind, and by obscenities we mean verbally taboo words, okay, you will find that most reflect one of Freud's stages of psychosexual development, okay? Indeed, perhaps the most vulgar thing that one person can call another in Western society has a distinctly Oedipal ring to it. I'll let you figure that one out on your own. Freud had a really interesting theory of humor. He was the first person to really study humor from a psychological perspective. Okay? And he was the first one to point out that the function of humor is catharsis. We have a lot of supportive research for this. But the function is catharsis. If you're not familiar with that word, catharsis, that means a release of energy. Remember those types of energy that he talked about. Libido being number one, really huge, right? But also thanatos, okay? And the type of humor that interested Freud in his studies was not puns. You know, Freud recognized that puns are just witty. You know, they're just clever. He was more interested in particular in tasteless humor. So in particular, sexual jokes and hostile jokes. In other words, hostile jokes that target an individual or a group. So examples of those hostile jokes would be ethnic jokes, sexist jokes, those that target gays, for instance. And Freud felt that tasteless humor provides a mirror into the joke teller's soul, and also the souls of those who respond to that type of humor with laughter. He claimed that these individuals, not only who tell the jokes but respond with laughter, are carrying around extra thanatos energy that is looking for a release. We have some really interesting research that supports this now. So we will tap into that in our next lecture segment.